Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies. My plan was to start this episode after swinging past Magdalen's and then flying out to the Lu Atheria transit relay, but apparently the blue fire has some other ideas. A knock at your door in the night. You open it and find a crewman slumped in the corridor. Is he alright? His skin is scalding. And what's that on his neck? Words written on his skin. A confession. He looks up. His eyes shine as if candles burned in them. He opens his mouth. It is lit from below by the blue fires burning in his belly. He stands and lurches forward. Well, I could try to shoot him dead. I think we're getting an answer to the question that Citizen Shore was asking himself last episode. No, it turns out I can't do that, probably. Slam the door and barricade yourself in. Fire, a livid blue, gushes from his mouth and ignites his clothes as you bash the door closed in the nick of time. He thumps and claws at the other side, flames licking under the door. The wood begins to smolder. Then you hear raised voices. Your officers? Gunshots. Then a voice. Captain, are you all right? You open the door. The crewman is dead. His clothes have burned away, and his skin is covered in writing, branded onto him. A comprehensive litany of his every crime and guilt and embarrassment. Some of your rescuers avert their eyes. Others cannot help but read in horror. Okay, so, I'm starting to think there might be a small connection between what's happening here to us and what happened to Captain Whitlock? Now, I cannot remember what the name of the original captain from the beginning of the series was, but I think a connection is definitely being made here. Alright, here we are in Lu Atheria. Look, we made it. Citizen Shore just made a quick run to Magdalen's, had nightmares purged by a person who was extremely good at pretending to be her renewed majesty. We just had a nice little tea party. It was very pleasant. For some reason, that removed my nightmares. And then, we swung through Polmir and Plenty's, and you might notice we recovered some crew. I was actually able to use the incredible force of Shore's personality to entice people away from the obelisk. It's kind of crazy. So that was I believe, our one free nightmare removal. If we want to lose nightmares at Magdalen's ever again, it's going to start costing moments of inspiration. And the text tells us that it is an escalating cost. I'm assuming it's going to be like a pretty straight linear escalation, one extra moment of inspiration each time. That is not a small cost. That's serious. That's a big resource. So let's try not to have too many more of those, shall we? Although, with people all over our engine just kind of randomly catching fire, I'm not sure that it's actually going to be feasible to avoid those. And we may as well, I figure, map out a little bit of the Lu Atherian sky that we've not yet seen, even though doing so might cause us to have an encounter with the Undeparted. I will say, like, with our new weapon, we should be much better at killing them, but given their ability to suddenly appear directly on top of us, I'm also worried that we might be much better at killing ourselves. You know, roughly 3 times as good at killing ourselves accidentally. So, let's just hope we don't have to fight any of them. And I do feel like we're moving through this ambition very, very quickly. My guess is that this is not going to take us nearly as long as the other two took, because while we were doing those, we were also still gaining a lot of knowledge about the world and exploring and stuff, and we don't have any new areas to unlock here. A blind hermitage. Oh, right, the fragment of the lost sigil. Let's try to put that together for the clerk. So we have to find another one of these. I think we're at 2 sigils now, because I grabbed the one at the circus again. I'm kind of curious about the clerk's further storyline, like after we get them the sigils that they need to take their vacation time. We'll maybe see about pursuing that. Really, this is probably this is almost certainly the last character we will play in Sunless Skies, so if there are any plot lines that we want to conclude, Citizen Shore is the one who needs to conclude them. So let me know in the comments, actually, if we started some plotline that you would like to see the end of, something that we didn't actually finish with the other characters because I got distracted, which I do. Alright, here in Aklis, we have a thing to do for the Clayman, right? Something's going down on the other side of the monastery. Fire flickers. Treachery carries on the wind. Well, Citizen Shore could just wade into the fight, but I don't think that's really in our personality here. This seems like a real someone else's kind of problem. Okay. Urchins surge at the attackers, armed with broomsticks with sharp objects taped on the end. They swiftly rout the attackers. The woman with the cigarette is long gone, leaving nothing behind but the smell of expensive ash. And apparently, I have a clear soul now, so that's disappointing. I still don't really understand how all the soul stuff works. Okay, so we can enter the House of Silks here, and take a moment with this hookah. May as well do that, because it's not super easy to lose terror in Lu Atheria anywhere else, as far as I remember. Where are we at now? 2? You know what? I will pay 10 sovereigns to lose 2 terror. Absolutely, I will do that. And then, I think we need to check the journal, because I can't remember what the Clayman wanted. Murgatroyd's Taste of Albion, that's what he wanted. He wanted to go to the tea shop. In the Court of Tea and Spices. Speak to a grumbling urchin. He slouches more than most of them, chewing on an old twig. I just bored of rations, okay? He spits out the twig. Old Sigrid keeps all the chocolate around here locked up in the Nightingale. He grins. Maybe you could sneak some of it out of that desk of hers. Can make it worth your while. Maybe. I'm gonna give that a real maybe. So we have 2 affiliation Bohemia. We might be able to get that higher if we fiddle with our crew a little bit. So this character might be better suited to actually getting stuff done in Caduceus than Sister Patel was. She just did not really fit in with those people very well. Okay, I honestly don't even remember this quest step from before. Pay to let the Clay Conductor spend time with Amberly's assistants. He is eager to speak to the Claymen in her employ. Just don't give him any ideas, Amberly tells you. The Clay Conductor requests that they sing for him. The other Claymen look reluctant, embarrassed even, but one with shale skin steps forward. It has been too long, but we should still sing. Following his lead, the Claymen launch into a mournful, hollow aria that resonates within your ribcage. Even Amberly Murgatroyd shivers as the last notes die away. The Clay Conductor is quiet for a long minute. At last, he gives his verdict. No. He stomps away, back toward your engine. Yeah, I don't remember that at all, actually. So, it looks like the tea plant is back. It's so weird how things reset. It's a strange choice for a narrative game to have so little of narrative consequence carried over between characters. Like, obviously, I swung through Hybris on the way here, and the Blue Kingdom Embassy is not even established in Hybris anymore. I just can't imagine why they would do it that way, especially with something like, you could say, hey, maybe they never really intended you to play multiple characters, and this is just a way of, like, the fact that the lineage system is just a way of letting you carry stuff over when actually the game should have ended. But, like, this ambition that we're on, it explicitly says on the menu, hey, you're intended to play this after you play another character. I don't know. They've made some odd design decisions here. Alright, I don't know that we necessarily want to do a lot else here. I feel like we kind of saw a lot of what's going on in Aklis. Obviously, if you feel differently, like I said, let me know in the comments. I am a little bit more curious about some of our other options, but for now, what I think I want to do really is go to Pan and continue pursuing our ambition. And also, we got to talk to the Clayman again. His meeting with Amberly Murgatroyd's assistants was not a success. The Clay Conductor is brooding on his bunk. He is holding the urn containing the rubble of his friend. There is no one else like him, the Conductor admits. I shall sing no more. He lapses into silence and will not speak again. Perhaps he's right. Perhaps there is no one who can sing in the way the Conductor wishes. But you have heard certain stories. You might just have an idea. Suggest an imaginative solution. Alright, so looks like we're just about back up to where we left off last time, and we have again the option to seduce the clay conductor. I don't know that Citizen Shore is really in that place. Citizen Shore is, I think, pretty overcome with the terror and stress of things, and while that is a lovely way to de-stress, I'm not sure that Citizen Shore is in the mood right now, especially given some of the things that I'm sure we're about to witness. We are just going to Pan, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Yes, okay. I am very curious what the Cypress King will have to say about the courtesy, especially considering how much more they seem to know and talk about the stars in Lu Atheria than in other places. Also, we should probably spend this level up at some point. Yeah, I guess let's get around to that. Hold on. Before we do that, let's have a quick look at our stats. So we're at 59 mirrors, only 22 iron. We definitely need to push our mirrors up higher. So, far traveled. This is annoying. Could we please get rid of it? Okay, nope. Tooltip is never going away. You have journeyed to every corner of the heavens. Your accounts of your travels are in great demand. When your avid audience ask what the sky holds, what do you answer? Terrors or wonders? Well, both are definitely correct. Okay, causing another tooltip to pop up solved it. Yeah, both are definitely correct. So, here I'm thinking like this is like talking to other crew of other locomotives at the tavern, right? If you can make a believable claim to have been a member of Sister Patel's crew, and walking off of the engine that used to be Sister Patel's engine is probably a pretty good way to do that. Probably people want to hear, right? That particular locomotive has a reputation. The people who have worked on that locomotive, the ones who survived, have seen some shit. You know, I want to talk to them about it. So, do we admit that there were terrors, or do we say that there were wonders? I'm definitely drawn to the terrors thing by the fact that there's a moment of inspiration attached to it. I don't think we have a lot of unlicensed charts either, but you need moments of inspiration so much more frequently. But I think Citizen Shore would say wonders, not necessarily because that's true, but because this whole journey is sort of aspirational for them, right? Not only do we need to believe that there's beauty and magic and things worth saving out there, but we also are actively trying to convince everyone else of that fact. Wonders, if, that is, you are bold enough to tread in places others fear, and sturdy enough to weather the winds. Citizen Shore has a serious belief that they can make the skies a better place. A better place for the people for whom they are currently the worst. We'll see if that actually gets borne out here. Like I said last episode, I think we're in a little over our head, dealing with problems a little bit above our pay grade. Oh no, the hateful wail of a scribe spinster. Whatever shall we do? Oh, yeah, I wonder if we definitely should be able to one-shot Grievers now, right? Because it took 2 hits to kill him before, but we do triple damage now. That's pretty handy. Trade visions of the heavens for a moment of inspiration? Absolutely. We have 3 of them now. So I think we've done pretty well on that. We even seem to have potentially burned 3 moments of inspiration for no value at all. But we're still doing okay on them. We should definitely kill every single Griever we see. Did I miss? I did. I missed. Ooh, that was a little close to be doing that thing. It worked out, but I should not have done that. Well, I haven't the iron to dig in its throat, but we could excavate its digestive system, or rather, convince the crew to excavate its digestive system. You'll need the proper equipment and a firm stomach of your own, but the oldest, most valuable things it devoured will be buried deep. Yeah, I mean, we don't really need money, but if we're going to be gathering trade goods from enemies, Navartine gemstones are the right ones. Come across an ancient ruin wrought by long-vanished hands. Something tells me we will be able to win this fight without taking too much damage. The Fool. I did not execute the patented Patel maneuver correctly, but he just wandered into the projectile anyway. Like he didn't even want to live. Also, that gave us a vision of the heavens, which is relatively valuable. Definitely a better outcome than getting some bronzewood. Hey, I will say, Sister Patel was gaining valuable stuff a lot faster than Citizen Shore is. I'm not saying that we're, like, getting anywhere near burning through our money, but we definitely have seen our stores of valuable stuff in the bank deplete pretty seriously. It's just something to keep an eye on. I might, if it comes down to it, I can do some work off camera and reacquire our fortune. Well, we are definitely taking repairs when we can take them here in Lu Atheria. The home. That seems like a very bold thing to name your locomotive. That's the kind of thing that gets poetry on your back, you know? A trade named The Home almost has to have something terrible happen to it. Alright, what hour is it today? The hour of trumpets. Hey, that's a bad one. I don't care for that. Everybody just stay inside. Seems like it would be a good idea for everybody to just stay inside. Most citizens of Pan stay off the streets. You huddle in the galley over Murgatroyd's fungal crackers and a ration of whiskey. Outside, trumpets blare. A scream interrupts your forced conversation. You finish the crackers in silence. Eventually, the idol's merry piping changes to a lilting lullaby. The hour of trumpets is over, and none of us had to see the red hooves. Well, let's visit the Cypress King, because we have some questions for him. The masked citizen has accompanied you. You hope the king can tell you something about the phrase that recurred in your friend's singed notes, and that we've now seen evidence of in a lot of other places, too. The king expects tribute first. Something appropriate. 7 savage secrets. A crimson promise steeped in old starlight. A moment of inspiration pried from the skull of a... The masked citizen interrupts. That sounds like a lot of work, and we're already here. Will one of these do instead? They draw a luminous bottle from their bag. Inside, a knotted soul stirs, the inconstant color of a blue bottle's back. It opens 7 slitted eyes lazily. Ah. Goodness, the king says. Yes, please. The eerie soul changes hands. The king will speak, but, in accordance with Pan's restrictions on storytelling, only to one of you. Listen, it ought to be me, because we all know how this is going to end. The masked citizen is going to be discouraged from continuing pursuit of the information. Best I know it. There is a chain of being, the king whispers. At the top, the suns. At, or near, the bottom, humanity. Between those 2 links are countless others. Curators, devils, heart-catchers, flukes, messengers. Some secrets, like the courtesy, are dangerous for those of us lower on the chain even to speak of. You must learn them from something higher. 3 such beings reside in Pan. The second storyteller, the piper, and December. Put your question to one of them. When you pass the information to the masked citizen, they grimace. Then I have a plan. Okay, hey, we actually had 7 savage secrets. We could have done that. The masked citizen leads you away from the populated parts of Pan's ruins and into a statued grove. We can speak here, they say. The trees are secluded, the air is dark and warm. From a nearby grove comes an eddy of flutes and drums. The masked citizen sits on a tumbled column. Pan is home to many sects and factions. 3 are preeminent. The Brazen Brigade, the Heartcatchers, and Winters reside. Join one. Win their trust, advance in their ranks, and then coax an answer about the courtesy from their patron. I'm going to look into something else. The king has given me an idea. If you want to speak to me, leave a message in this grove. I'll check it regularly. Okay, so we do actually have to join up. Well, this is a thing that we didn't really pursue with our other characters, so I guess this isn't a big loss. Okay, why can't you just join one of the factions? You seem to know your way around. Oh, because I already have. The Neo-Nocturnals who rule the Forum here. A less important sect and of no help in our current situation, but one apt to my proclivities. My loyalties are already declared, in other words. Yours are up for negotiation. Pick a faction that suits your temperament. Don't worry, I'll find a way to make myself useful. Okay, I can do that, I guess. First things first, before I forget. We're gonna need more supplies and stuff. Oh, I am short on hold space and also a little bit on money. Hold on. Let's divest ourselves of some sky garbage, and then also probably sell some things. What's up at the bazaar? Aged catches and bronzewood. We'll take these. I don't think we had any prospects. No, apparently I did. I definitely have flown through the circus a couple of times. I could totally have dropped this off. Oh well. Alright, so let's make a little bit of money real quick. We can... Sorry, I want to go to the night market, selling from the bank. Yeah, you can see our supplies are a little bit dwindled. Okay, we can sell off 5 bronzewood pretty easily. That'll give us enough money to do some basic stuff with. So, into the hold, we must purchase some supplies and some fuel, maybe even a little bit more. Okay. So, let's talk about our options here. We might have to hear everybody's pitch again. My feeling is that, based on what we know, and at this point, we can pretty much say what Citizen Shore knows, right? Because Citizen Shore, if not present for all of the things that were learned during Sister Patel's voyage, at least would have heard some of it from the other crew, and also probably would have heard some of it from Sister Patel herself while she was handing over control of things. There are probably things she would deem they would need to know, right? So, I think that probably our ultimate goals do not align very well with the Calendar Council. The Calendar Council are revolutionaries, but they work for the liberation of Night, right? I don't think, as much as I think that in order for things to improve for the little guy, the powerful people are going to have to be shaken from their posts a bit, I don't know that I think that it's a good idea to destroy the stars and also all natural order. Because, like, look at what's happening in Albion with the wefts of unraveled time and stuff due to their sun being missing. And maybe I'm misapprehending, maybe removing the stars won't be quite so bad as all that, but I think that's the idea. I think that getting the tyranny of the stars is natural law, which is to say, like, physics. So, I don't think we get along with the Calendar Council. Let's go visit the other two docks, see what their deal is. I remember the Heart Catchers a little bit. I feel like I don't really know that much about the Brazen Brigade, aside from the fact that they're devils. We have traditionally been sort of friendly with the devils here on this train. We have worked for devilish causes. We have had devils on board. Sister Patel did some things with the devil that I'm not sure whether or not they're public knowledge. Seems like it would have been hard for the crew not to know what was going on in that room, right? So this clot of sable groves is home to the Devils of the Brazen Brigade. At its heart stands the adamant idol, which is very creepy, whose arrhythmic piping determines the current hour. The Brazen Brigade are its interpreters. They promise they are utterly impartial. So here, the Brazen Brigade venerate the Saints of Hell, here in the Grove of Far Too Late. Reliquaries speckle the ground like gemstones on a cardinal's vestments. A hill rises up from the grove. Halfway up it, a broken temple rests below soaring arches. Behind the hill, from the center of Pan, the adamant idol is clearly visible. Long shadows move below the arches, swaying to the arrhythmic wail of the pipes. Walk in the fiefdom of the Brazen Brigade, the devils that aspire to seize heaven's thrones. Thou hast taken, and shalt not render again. The carved faces of saints peer down at you from arches and columns. Some have expressions of serenity, their many mouths gently smiling. Other, more ecstatic saints are contorted in sanctified rapture. A curious dilettante waves you to join him by a sunken arch. Oh, you're just in time! They're about... He's cut off by the sound of horns. A troop of devils thunder past. A single devil in a suit is their quarry. They pursue him to the boundary of the grove, where he disappears in the mists. They hate the Republicans of their kin, the dilettante whispers. They will not suffer equality here. Okay, sounds like maybe not 100% our deal. They will not suffer equality here. So we could initiate into the Brazen Brigade. I think it's entirely possible that none of these factions are going to be a good fit for Citizen Shore, and we're just going to have to pick one to infiltrate for our own purposes. And if that's the case, then maybe the Calendar Council are exactly who we're looking for. Because I think I would like to know what's going on the inside there. More than I would like to know what's going on the inside here, certainly. Let's speak to the Curious Dilettante. What can he tell you about himself and also the Brazen Brigade? He looks up from his sketchbook. I wish to witness suffering. Not out of sadism, you understand, but my station in life has always been privileged. My art, myself, lacks something for it. Wishing to learn more of injustice, of doomed causes, I came here. The Brigade have been very accommodating. I think they appreciate the interest. As for the Brigade, they are unique among devils I've known. Their saints are the grand devils who once served in the heavens, but rebelled and were cast down or imprisoned or fled. The stories are inconsistent on that point. Well, I don't think that the Brazen Brigade is a very good fit for us. Let's go and actually check in. Maybe we join the Heartcatchers because they represent sort of a neutral ground. Let's at least go and examine the other two docks real quick. The other two platforms. Yeah, I mean, the Calendar Council, they know things and they're powerful. It might be the case that joining up with the Calendar Council makes the most sense just because even if we extremely disagree with their aims, they have the most to offer us. And we may as well enter from this side since we know we're going to have to end up going this way anyway. Hey, look at that. That's something I definitely couldn't have gotten away with earlier in the series. Something I definitely would have killed myself attempting. 3 of the revolutionaries governing the Calendar Council, or 3 of the revolutionaries governing Calendar Council live here. Well, 2 now, right? Which one did we kill with our aunt? Was it February or December? I don't remember. A solitary cobbled street. The street nestles amidst the ruins and trees of Pan, one end abutting an overgrown grove. Revolutionaries with secateurs wage continual war, rebuffing vines attempting to claim the cobbles. The Georgian houses are well kept and cleaner than they ever were in London, but only one is lit up. It is the focus of the activity here. Outside it, revolutionaries trade, compare wounds, and practice tirades. Their home here offers them solace and restoration before the next battle. We should definitely mingle with the revolutionaries. These do seem like our sort of people. You follow the xenophilic youth to a small stall selling pasties. He buys you one. While you eat, narrowly avoiding burning your mouth, the boy running the stall tells you of the latest escapades of his favorite revolutionary captain. Seems he has quite the crush. We can negotiate for a captivating treasure. Will cost a point of hearts and iron, among other things. Maybe it'll be cheaper if we've done special service for the Calendar Council. Yeah, were you initiated into Winter's Reside, the price would be less painful. So a bunch of hull, some artifacts, also some crew. Okay. Yeah, maybe this is the way to do it. We would need 3 Eleutherian mysteries to join them. Let's go talk to the Heartcatchers one more time just to verify. I guess, hold on. Let's also do this. The Georgian house is 3 stories high, with silhouettes at every window. Some pace, others gesticulate, others have their heads close, perhaps conspiring. The building is rammed to the gunwales with the revolutionaries. Light pours from the open front door. The doorwoman is slight and no real obstacle, but a continuous trickle of revolutionaries passes her, some burlier than your strongest stoker. If she wanted to refuse entry, she'd be able to enforce it. So yeah, we're going to have to grow closer with the revolutionaries before we can do anything here. And once we do something here, we'll be able to get proper repair. Yeah, we might have to join up with the Revolutionaries. That's not the same thing as joining the Calendar Council. I was thinking of them as the same thing, but at Winter's Reside, there's people who are engaged in all kinds of revolution, it seems. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think that's the way we want to go, because I remember being very creeped out by the Heartcatchers. And while Citizen Shore is willing to perform a little bit of espionage, I'm not sure they could take what it would take to get in with these guys. A grizzled coterie of gardeners care for this unusual orchard. The plants that grow here are heartcatchers, whose fruit looks and speaks like human heads. Yeah, I'm imagining Citizen Shore as being still pretty green, despite the journeys on Sister Patel's engine not quite hardened to the skies yet, and so this is very creepy. Yeah, I think we got to get in with the Revolutionaries. I think that's the right thing to do. That makes the most sense for the character, and I think also mechanically that makes the most sense. So, we need 3 Eleutherian mysteries. We have a port report, so we can go to the main dock in Pan and hand that over, and then we're going to have to just fly around and explore and stuff. Earn our way in. Fortunately, that is absolutely doable. So we'll just go south, we'll go to Langley Hall and Caduceus and see if we can get anything done down there. I feel like the southern part of this map is way less dangerous than the northern part. Okay, so we visit the Cypress King, trade our single port report. And then, oh yeah, we took the prospects already. One of them was for Langley Hall, right? 3 Bronzewood? I have 3 Bronzewood. We can make that happen. And we are now at 64 mirrors. So, it's not impossible that we could get back to being able to run our Ratronaut. Yeah, let's go this way. Also, of value in heading south is that the southern part of the map is where I feel like we've seen most of those blind hermits in caves. So if we want to complete the sigil that we're working on, this is the direction to go in. You know, I don't really feel like I have a great grasp of what's going on with the people of Eagle's Empyrean either, the Khanate. This is the only place in the skies where they seem to exist. They're against the Lamentation of Night. I think we like that, right? I don't know. Citizen Shore is actually going to have to figure out what our actual position is. I mean, we started with sort of a vague notion of making things better and maybe resisting the Lamentation of Night. Because remember, Citizen Shore was told about the Lamentation of Night at some point and found it an unpleasant idea. But we're coming at this from a position of fairly profound ignorance. So I think what I'm going to do is go to Langley Hall first, and then we'll sweep back to Caduceus. And the reason I want to do that is that if we end up with a ton of terror, we can easily go to Aklis and burn it off before we go back to Pan. The Studious Forged Companion presents you with a dossier they have compiled of all the areas in which you could improve yourself. The suggestions are specific and personal. It appears you have more shortcomings than you ever thought possible. Delightful. The Studious Forged Companion has put a great deal of effort into it. It would be a shame to let it go to waste, and honestly, odds are he's right? He's very smart. Some of the entries in the dossier would be amusing were they about someone else, and with a little imagination they could be. Since only you and the companion have seen the dossier, no one would be any the wiser if you were to repurpose the stories for more entertaining ends. You note down the most amusing details, taking care to omit any identifying information, and throw the dossier into the fire. I feel like we maybe could have put it to a little bit better use than that. The situation is mildly irksome. I am concerned that we are going to develop some issues with our... Oh, geez. Oh, right. One of these. Yeah, that noise. It always scares the hell out of me. You never hear it, really. Well, that's just terrible shooting. Alright, I'm pretty sure it was not fighting me. Like, sometimes they just fire in weird directions. But I think it may have been shooting at something else, and I have no idea what. Oh, probably that. Okay, those things are not that hard to kill if you have the right weaponry. So I think we definitely want to do the commingling of the choirs. I would like to actually... One thing that I would like to do, before we conclude Citizen Shore's plotline, is go back to Whirlberry, get dipped in the mist by the cult, and pursue the other option with the Scornfluke there. So we're definitely taking this route every time we can. We have felt a Scornfluke's tormented musics. Yeah, man, I feel like I'm just doing a lot worse job in combat here. Trying not to fire the good weapon when we're so very close to the enemy. It's almost like I'm accidentally mechanically inclined to roleplay. But I'm not. I assure you that's not what's happening. I'm just doing a really bad job of hitting stuff for some reason. Okay, I don't know that we necessarily need to go to the well. At this point, I guess Citizen Shore would probably be pretty closely acquainted with the storms of the sky, given what happened at the Storm That Speaks and everything. So maybe not so terrified of the wells, but I don't know that there's a lot of value in going there. I don't think I want to turn around and loot whatever that is. But we probably should actually be sending the caveat, because we are looking for more of those islands, right? And maybe I won't just wander across them. Okay. Let's veer off course and grab whatever that is. I forgot that here in Lu Atheria, you just get that crescent moon on stuff. You have very little information about what your scout is finding. Okay, Amber. Amber's fine. I still don't really know how to use it. Was just seeing if that ship was still there, because if it was, we totally would have killed it. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do with the Ember. I have no idea if there are actually valuable rewards available up at the Messenger Corps, but that feels like a thing that it would be tedious to trial and error your way into figuring out. Alright, there's an extinguishment right here, which is a little bit worrying, because we have certainly seen more undeparted near these than anywhere else. I suppose we could turn off our light. Maybe that's a good idea. Just try not to draw any attention until we're away from it. That's probably good enough. And like I said, we have a whole plan for dealing with terror should we need to deal with terror. So it won't hurt us to fly around with our light off for a little while anyway. Okay, back to Langley Hall. What did it take to get the port report here? I think it was pretty easy, right? At Langley Hall, you can be whoever you were meant to be, a crewman says, softly. His eyes are hopeful. Well, I'm way less concerned about losing crew here than I was with Sister Patel. Because, man, Citizen Shore can convince some people of his cause, even if he doesn't really know what it is. He's got a gift. The maids of Langley Hall hustle you into a quiet corner of the house where they are auctioning off some of Lord Langley's unwanted possessions at bargain prices. Sure, I'll buy a crate of nostalgic crockery. His lordship won't mind, because his lordship will never find out. Alright, listen, I am not opposed to engaging in a little bit of crime. Actually, hold on. Before we do this, let's turn in this thing before I forget. Guests hurry to unload the wood. About time you got here. We've got it all built, save the roof. Would have been just our luck if it had rained. Here, take this as a bonus. We found it in the gardens. Alright. Got ourselves another otherworldly artifact. We're starting to build up like a reasonable number of those things. And then we may as well take on this literature. Alright, let's head back in. Or sorry, head in for the first time with this character. So we can compile our port report straight up. I'm assuming we won't have... yeah, we don't have any of Sister Patel's progress. So, like, if we want to find the sigil, we're going to have to actually explore here. Which we totally could do. And we have the money to buy a lot of supplies. Yeah, I guess let's sign the guest book. Remain as you are. Because we have to do this before we have the ability to walk inside. Yeah, okay. We could try hanging up our coat and hat. This is something we ended up not doing with Sister Patel because I was worried about it. At first, I was worried about it making it hard to explore further. We had a lot of exploration to do when we found Langley Hall the first time. And then toward the end, it started to just be not really sensical for her character. The temptation makes sense, but that she would succumb to it did not. But we could try it out here. You run the risk of wanting to come back. The hall engenders dreams that weigh like an anchor on the dreamer. Because there are some options that I would love to have access to here. Yeah, let's try it. Let's see exactly what this does. A jovial doctor in a taupe waistcoat manages the cloakroom. This way, citizen. Let's see if we have any space left. He guides you to a hat stand nestled between a vast tower of wigs and a row of pinstriped suits. Do let me know if you find anything interesting during your stay, he says, so that I can avoid stumbling across it. Alright, we'll just, we'll linger for a time. It's fine. So this will lock options in Langley Hall, but you won't be at the risk of staying too long either. So we can just take our coat and hat back at any time. But I'm assuming if we remain here while in this state, it will probably get harder to leave or something. Well, let's start by inquiring after Lord Langley. We never did find him. I'll tell you what I know if you agree that, if you do find him, you'll respect his wishes. That's what this place is about. Respecting each other. I am awfully curious. Okay. So, search Langley Hall for clues to where Lord Langley is gone. To find the cook, you gotta find the kitchen. He favored a particular armchair in the lounge, and his friend is in the drawing room. We had found most of these places. Oh, unfortunately, we're going to need supplies for some of this, right? So you can embark on an expedition into Langley Hall with fists or heart. We're pretty good at heart. Honestly, I'm surprised this number is so low given how high our hearts is. If you exchange an unlicensed chart for help with our map, we do only have 2 of those, but you don't need them very much either. Okay, and there's nothing else that we could exchange. Nothing that we just don't have. So we could send out an expedition. What is really the difference here? Because they seem to require the same count of supplies. Yeah, I don't know. I will embark on an expedition personally. Thank you. We spent 2 supplies. We got some amount of staircase spelunking. You lead your crew through lamplit hallways, up stone staircases, and down hidden back passages. You meet exiled duchesses, take tea with priests, and swap stories with fellow spelunkers on the landings. When you arrive back in the hallowed hallway, you find you've been away for less time than you'd thought. Your chart of the hall is expanded, and some of your supplies remain. Okay, so we are at 10. Well, we know where the kitchen is. This will at least let us get the sigil. Unfortunately, getting the sigil is a matter of iron, so that's not ideal. Champagne corks pop, someone is playing a viol, cards are slapped onto the wooden table. A dozen flushed faces turn toward you, all beaming. The game looks complex, and we're not super likely to be successful at it. But this is something we can only do because we're staying for a while. It was an option that was locked to Sister Patel. Let's try it. The worst we could lose is money, it seems like. There are 214 cards compiled from a variety of decks, so that though there are 6 aces of bats, each bears a different hue and a different function within the game. You may pair 6s, queens, and 4s, but never 7s. An ace, held for more than 7 rounds, can be exchanged for another card, but you may not choose which. Most of the other players are as baffled as you, but one rogue has been making notes on the rules. A considered effort of mathematics propels her into victory, and to the victor the spoils. The warmth of the hall feels like a cozy blanket settled around your shoulder. Outside is cold. Inside is safe. It's a little worrying. Well, a party runs on its stomach. We can help them cook. They sell supplies here, right? I'm pretty sure. We don't have access to our charts or anything, but I'm pretty sure. The cook with the ocelot-patterned apron raises an eyebrow at your methodology, but does nothing to inhibit you beyond insisting that every dish contain a nip or 3 of cider. This comes from a flask in her apron. She gives you a wink every time she produces it. You create a bounty of sweetmeats and pasties. Or pasties? I think it might be pasties. Roasted cantankerine and chorister parcels, delicious squirmings, fried whorlberry style. The cook tastes everything. She says nothing, but she does produce a hamper. She orders you to take a portion of everything before the other guests get their mitts on it. So we gained 2 uncanny specimens. Not safe to eat, I would think. Langley Hall feels increasingly like your home away from home. I mean, we're gonna go ahead and go for this roll, but let's talk to the notorious flirt first. She disarms would-be suitors with bon mot that stay just on this side of good taste. I've seen your type so many times I could swear you were an attendant at Magdalen's, she says without looking up. Oof, she cut me to the quick, apparently. Alright, well, maybe we'll talk to her later, once we've fulfilled some sort of who knows what. Alright, let's investigate the stove. Coals pop and prod as you shove them aside. Suddenly a stack of fuel collapses, scattering lumps of coal to the ground. Watch it! A card player's trouser leg is scalded, and you are subjected to a round of disapproving tuts. So it's going to cost us a savage secret every time we make the roll. I think we can do this. We can just do it until we succeed. We don't have a ton of savage secrets, but they're easy enough to get in the Reach. The coals pop as you shove them to one side. The neat stack of fuel collapses, sending a wave of heat toward you. Your face and arms are slick with sweat, but there, just at the back, you can make out a sigil, burning brighter than the smoldering coals. Alright, so we already saw this one. We know what this is about. Okay, so we have to bring a caged catch back to the kitchen and pass what is honestly a really difficult hearts roll, given our level of hearts. Let's return to the hallway. We need to go back and get some supplies as well. So if we recover our coat and hat here, the doctor guides you to your effects with admirable efficiency. I always remember where someone leaves their things. I trained for medicine, but this is preferable. It requires the same attention to detail and personal attention, but involves considerably less mess. Everything in its place, nothing ever goes wrong, and it wouldn't matter much if it did. Here you are. Yeah, Langley Hall is kind of a low-pressure place. This is not that I want to leave the hall exactly, but it is the case that I want to have access to the shop here, because we got to buy supplies, like a whole lot of supplies. Let's just really load up, and then... Oh, right, I don't have access to my bank here, though, so we're going to have to go get caged catches from Pan. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to fill the hold completely with supplies, and then we're going to go back inside and unlock some more rooms to play with. How long has it been since your last minute? I don't know, like 3 minutes? Alright, I am going to, at some risk... I guess we don't need to hang up our coat and hat now, right? We could go explore the hall and unlock all the rooms first. No, we failed a roll. So we still get some steps, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, we now have 15. You still get some staircase spelunking, just less. Well, we're gonna need a lot to get the job done here. Having found the lounge, you'll always be able to return. The lamps are low, giving the room a warm amber glow. The wood paneling is dark. The wainscoting is decorated with sleeping cats. A fire, orange as a harvest moon, blazes in the hearth. Guests slumber on the enormous sofas, or else whisper to each other from the armchairs. Wherever you look, there are glasses of mulled wine. So we cannot search Lord Langley's chair because we're not staying a while, but we can just come back. Alright, let's keep going. We do not yet have all of the rooms unlocked. We could trade a moment of inspiration or an unlicensed chart, but I feel like we could just keep buying supplies, right? So what is the largest number? We need 60 for this room, 80 for that room. Okay, so we have to get to 80, it looks like. We can't enter the bathroom with our low affiliation Bohemia, but we might be able to reconfigure our crew and fix that. So we gotta get to 80, was it? We can get to 80. I can do that. Map the place out enough to have access to all of the major hotspot rooms. Okay, where are we at right now? 65. That might do it, right? Nope. I have, 75. So one more. One more, except I've run out of supplies. Well, I'm certainly not going to spend a chart or a moment for this. So we found the key for the yellow drawing room, and we may as well just try to pass this. We have way more, we have a way better roll on this than Sister Patel would have. The room is warmed by a number of candles on silver trays. The flickering light renders the yellow wallpaper the color of melting butter. She definitely did make it to this room, though, I remember that. Volunteers creep about the room, topping up brandy, ironing fresh newspapers, and clearing away spent candles. A few faces glance up as you enter, but none look longer than briefly. If you wish to engage with the occupants, you must work to capture their interest. Well, let's work to capture their interest, then. A woman stands by herself, smoking a long cigarette. Her eyes are pale yellow, a devilish. Those eyes, like drowned suns, meet yours across the room. I've heard of you, citizen. You've been asking questions. As it happens, I'm tired of waiting for answers. She opens the watch on her wrist. Inside, not cogs, but a soul, emerald and jaundiced. His, for safekeeping. No, don't look at me so. I am not, nor was ever, the type to be his lover. She sighs, perhaps regret, perhaps pity. He was waiting for someone. He told me he wouldn't remember who he was. He told me he thought he might find him in the laundry. She blows out a puff of smoke. When you tell me, perhaps it will all come out in the wash. Well, she's clever. I'll give her that. She's a little witty. This will exchange your moment of inspiration for a gourd of chorister nectar. Why would I do that? That seems terrible. Alright, I will not abide the wallpaper in this room for a second longer. Let's leave Langley Hall again, because apparently we have to buy more supplies. We're starting to run a little low on cash. I'm not going to be able to buy all the way up to a full hold, but this'll do. We're rich, but, you know, not super liquid right now. Alright, we need one more successful roll. So we've discovered the upstairs laundry cupboard. It dominates the landing like your aunt at a dinner party. You can hear giggling coming from within. Your explorations have borne fruit. You have found a way to the upstairs laundry cupboard, which smells of fresh linen and spilt wine. I think we found this with Sister Patel, didn't we? You pull open the doors and are met with the smell of fresh laundry and spilt wine, voluminous blankets, an impossibility of towels, and an improbable amount of bedding, conceals most of the cupboard from view. From somewhere much further inside, you can hear the unmistakable sound of giggling. Yes, and then we couldn't pursue these options because I was afraid of staying a while. These are going to cost moments of inspiration, too. Alright. We'll come back. And we may as well unlock that last room as well. Okay, back to the hallway. So, now that we've heard about where Lord Langley is likely to be, that has not created a new room for us, right? Okay, we need more affiliations to access these rooms, but we have enough staircase spelunking. So if we come back with the appropriate affiliations, we will immediately be able to access them. So, at this point, I think it behooves us to hang up our coat and hat for a while. And let's go search for Lord Langley. Alright, so we want to... What am I doing? This is not the right thing. Alright, I don't need to explore. I already know where all the rooms are. We need the upstairs laundry cupboard. Alright, so we can search the cupboard. 64% chance of success. Or we can just try to figure out who's in here. Lord Langley searched the cupboard for someone. The cupboard is vast. You'll need more than luck to get anywhere. Well, we could back out and reconfigure our crew a little bit and try to improve our mirrors. We could afford to drop down below 75 hearts for a little while, because we're not going to need to fire the Wrath of Heaven while we're here at the dock. Let's do that. Hold on. Let's back up. This is a little bit cumbersome. Okay, because I need access to my officer menu. So could we gain any mirrors? We're already at maximum mirrors in that slot. And we don't have mirrors available in this one. If we were to put on our... this is not a useful affiliation. So we actually can't even fiddle around with our affiliations to get the stuff we need. Unfortunately, our crew that used to give us Bohemian affiliation are gone, right? Like, we got that from the princess. Was there somebody else? Maybe not. But basically, we just need another point of Bohemian affiliation really badly, and I do not have a good sense of how to get that. Okay, well, we know we can't improve the likelihood of that roll, but we have 3 moments of inspiration. We could just try it 3 times. We're fairly likely to get it in 3 attempts. What are the odds? Like 1 in 8 that we would not land it with one of our 3 moments of inspiration? I feel okay about that. I forgot to put away my coat and hat again. Yeah, it is a little cumbersome to interact with Langley Hall. This is not totally ideal. Alright, who's in here? The cupboard is vast. You'll need more than luck to get anywhere. Alright, 1 wasted. You plunge into the cupboard. How did Lord Langley accumulate so much stuff? Maps of the house, tracings of correspondence sigils, barrels of spent hours, and some really unpleasant paintings of clocks. Dust rises like mist in a penny dreadful. You search for a really inordinate amount of time. An unusual standard lamp, almost like the last lamppost in miniature, stands on a sheet of paper. On the paper is a drawing of 2 men dancing. The lamp has been placed in such a way that it separates them. On one side is a moonlit house, on the other, with the other man, the stars. It is an effective, if unhelpful piece. It is clearly a sign, but for someone else. So, we found something. It's not useless. Langley Hall is in your dreams. Each night you walk its hallways and descend its stairs. Little worried about that. Okay, so it looks like you get the result either way, but failing, probably we didn't get some reward that we would have gotten, and also we gained 5 terror. Alright, well let's try this one as well. Who's in here? You burst into the cupboard and begin to make your way through the gathered collections of disappointing eiderdowns that have made their way here. At last you emerge on the far wall, where a mirror, elegant and silver-framed, hangs. Signora Domenica is on the other side. She beckons you through. You emerge in a grove where snakes slither on the ground like oversized worms. The sky is amber, and a river flows through the grass that is too green. Signora Domenica invites you to join several of the serpents down by the water. Together they teach you the rites to remember the moon, the other half of the sun. You emerge hours later into the relative darkness of Langley Hall. That's odd. So we just walked into a... Okay, I think that's the first of Citizen Shore's really strange personal experiences out in the sky. So we didn't have to pay a moment of inspiration to do that, and then we also gained one. I don't know what to make of what we've found here. This is the option we selected, right? We did search the cupboard, who's in here. Cupboard is vast, you'll need more than luck to get anywhere. It didn't cost a moment of inspiration last time. What I'm trying to divine here is whether this is an actual different option that might lead to a different result. I guess let's try it, because this one costs a moment of inspiration. It's gotta be something different, right? Pushing through innumerable pillowcases, you come across a woman sitting quietly, legs crossed. She is absorbed in a book. A cup of tea rests untouched by her feet. "Oh, sorry," she says, marking her place and closing the book. "I was just taking a break. I usually keep an eye on things for Lord Langley. He'll make sure no one's making anyone else feel unwelcome. But it all gets a bit much sometimes. No one bothers me here. I'll be out again shortly." She returns to reading, but not before sharing some tea. Okay, so there's a variety of different things available here. I don't know why it didn't cost us a moment of inspiration the first time. Oh well. Okay, so what am I supposed to do with this now? We have a piece of information. We have a painting. I guess the deal is we have to pursue the other options that are available to us. So no, we do not have the option of searching his chair. Huh. Right, I can't access my journal while I'm actually in Langley Hall. Well, that's inconvenient. Oh wait, the chair was in the lounge, maybe? Yes, here we go. Okay, I was just in the wrong place. Lord Langley's chair sits unoccupied, far from the fire. It gathers dust and curious glances. It would be best were your investigation not scrutinized. You wait for the opportune moment when enough of the guests are drowsing, wine-sodden and languid, to creep to the chair. It is a high-backed velvet horror that resembles a bat turned inside out. It creaks damnably if you so much as brush against it. It requires a steady hand and limitless concentration to fish around the crevices. You find coinage, crumbs, and dust. The springs are damnable, the patterning lamentable. This is like the worst chair. They're working really hard to express to us this is a terrible chair. Finally, your hands hook around... What's this? A map. A map directing you to the study. Okay, that's something. I can go to the study. We could share our story. Pretty low cost for engaging in the role. Sure, what do we get out of it? Never mind. Nothing is the answer to that. Your recounting of your adventures in the broken kingdoms of the stars are cut short by a young gentleman who interrupts with a flood of tears. Over the next hour you are regaled with a story of heartbreak and lamentation. His love affairs are endless and conducted only in one key. Eventually he is overwhelmed by anguish, and also wine. There's a collective sigh of relief. Let's try that again, because I want to see what happens if we succeed. Wow. Bad rolls. One more time. Nope. That says 66, right? Okay, one more try. There we go. The little huddle by the fire are enraptured by your stories, of daring deeds done in the cold of the wilderness, of narrow escapes in distant ports, of crew victorious and valiant, of crew defeated and done, of you persisting over all. These are probably mostly repurposed stories from the Song of the Sky, or stories about Sister Patel with the serial numbers filed off, right? You are told where you might find a barrel of ours stowed away on a hidden landing. You need time more than we do. Okay, we successfully leave the room. So let's go to the study, I guess. Sorry, I want to return to the hallway. And then... the study. Oh, the study is the one that you have to have... academic... academic reputation with. Okay, well then I guess we're just going to be done here for now? We'll come back once we figure out how to get our affiliations up a little bit. It is time to leave Langley Hall. So I wonder if we're going to suffer any long-term consequences from having had our coat and hat hung up for so many actions. Because we did a lot of stuff here, and we were growing more and more fond of the place the entire time. That is sort of the consequence that I was always worried about. I guess we'll see if it's a real thing next time, because of course we are out of time for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back tomorrow to see if we can maybe wring anything extra out of Caduceus, although I'm a little worried about the fact that we can't get our Bohemian affiliation to 3. That might cause some problems. And we'll see you then.